We are live.
All right.
Hold
on.
There
Sorry, guys. Of course, even live, we're full of technical difficulties.
Phil is
Welcome
breaking
back.
stuff.
Yes, I am breaking things, knocking stuff over here. Anyways, guys, as you know, we are going to do the daily live news right from here from Tabconf.
Live on scene.
Live on scene. That's right. And later this afternoon, guys, get ready. We're going to have the guys from Solo Satoshi joining us. We may have Matt Hill, who's also going to come by and talk to us. We bumped into Super Testnet. We're most likely going to bug him to get him to join us on the show. So yeah, just get ready for that stuff. Anyways. Okay. For the news today, we are going to take a look at the banks, unsurprisingly, are getting together to love and praise Bitcoin. No, it's actually to work on a stable coin that can benefit all of them. We're going to take a look at a bunch of different hopium. There's some news out of Venezuela. There's this awesome market psychology chart that tells us, get ready. The sky's the limit. We're also going to look at some other chart that essentially would indicate to us that we're ready to go to the moon once again. And of course, that makes all of us happy. That's right, guys. We're going to throw in a whole bunch of hopium for this. UK's digital ID failure. Hey, that's. Are you surprised?
UK fails at everything.
Not everything. I mean, some things they get right. We can't be mean like that, right?
Maybe of course, don't be mean. Don't be mean.
But you know, yeah, it's pretty bad. They're doing a really bad.
Sorry, Oz.
Well, they're doing a bad job when it comes to the personal freedom aspect, right?
Right.
Well, I guess we could be honest.
Call
with
a
that.
spade a spade.
That's right. Are we even allowed to say that? Isn't that not a politically correct saying anymore? I don't even know. Anyway, doesn't matter. Nothing matters because we're live. Moving on. ETH. No, not ETH. Sorry, not ETH. ETF bans. That's right, guys. The UK also making a change.
See why I told you.
That's true. Okay, fine. So they got two things wrong. Yeah. India, guys. India loves Bitcoin, and that's why they're going to do something that's not Bitcoin related. And also, Ulric found this really good little orange washing story, which we are going to dive into as well. Guys, you know the deal. Before we do any of that, we're going to show some love to the Pleb Underground sponsor because this is still our daily live show, and we're going to be right back to dive into all of the news.
Don't go anywhere.
Hey, Johnny Midas, how's it going? Okay, here we go. Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium. Hey, what's happening there? I thought the ad was going to play again. We actually just saw BitGuns here, and he is sporting a really nice Gen X BTC t-shirt. So shout out to Gen X, right? Shout out to him and the awesome shirts that he's making. Style. Yeah, very, very nice style. Okay, guys, that's it. We're going to dive into it, so let's go. Starting with, not that. I love it when it does this. Give me a second, guys. Of course, there's a caching issue because life wouldn't be fun if there wasn't. Right? Life wouldn't be fun if... Let's do it. Here we go. Okay. So, first story. Consortium of major banks, including Bank of America, Citi, Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs, and UBS, are exploring the creation of a blockchain-based assets pegged to G7 currency. When I read stuff like that, I genuinely feel either like I'm an Alzheimer's patient or we're just reinventing the wheel over and over again, or maybe it's a combination of both. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't
like. Are we supposed to be excited about a stable coin again?
Someone is, but it's not Bitcoiners. And
yeah,
like we continually, I mean, ever since the strategic Bitcoin reserve bills were coming out, they said they're coming. The bills are coming. The laws are coming to support Bitcoin. And when you read them, there's nothing but stablecoin policy and of the Clarity Act, nothing but stablecoin policy. And it really does nothing. Again, from a number go up perspective for Bitcoin, it's nothing. It's not better, it's not worse. But for all of these lawmakers, for all these statists, they're looking for new ways to control you. They're looking for new ways to manifest their fiat sovereignty. And guess what? When you go to these conferences and you're cheering for these suits on stage, you're propagating that type of narrative. When is enough enough? When are we going to separate, to draw the line? It's like, y'all stay over there, we're over here. And honestly, when you're at a conference like the Tab conference here, you can't help but feel like you're on the right side of history and the right side of the narrative.
I just feel like it's like a bunch of LARPing, right? Like, it's like, how do we make ourselves, I'm talking about the politicians, right? Like, how do they make themselves feel important or become important in this process? And this is how they do it, right? Because let's face it, right? We know how Bitcoin works, right? You're either going to come to Bitcoin and you're going to contribute to it and become part of everything that is Bitcoin, or you're going to need to make it all about you. And that's usually when you become Lord Shitcoin, right? Or you become the king of your own little shitcoin palace and you have your own little moat and everybody comes to play in your little, your little park. And that's kind of what I feel like this is the only thing the states know how to do, because they don't add any value when it comes to Bitcoin. I mean, yeah, they could remove, they could lax all the laws, remove all of the gatekeeping, but but again, like, all it does is reduce their own power.
That's right.
So that's okay. We did that before too. Nah, no worries. We have this. We're
live on scene.
Live on scene. We're right next to the registration desk, and like
we're literally breaking.
Okay.
An easel. No, that's it. Like the politicians, it's like oil and water. Fiat, and another example, fiat and Bitcoin don't mix. We're seeing it when those stories come out, and I'm glad that stories come out, and it's no longer the goosebumps for Bitcoiners anymore.
Yeah.
It's no longer. It doesn't seem to make anyone get any extra hopium. Then it's like, hey, we saw this last year and it didn't really do anything for Bitcoin. And so we're learning, and we have to go through this process. And I think in a couple years, this will be a nothing burger for the Bitcoin network, the Bitcoin community, the Bitcoin growth and technology in general. We won't even be talking about this on this show anymore.
No, hopefully not. Yeah. Hopefully not. Actually, just saw D++ walk by. We should try to get her to come and join us on the show too. Okay. Yeah, just every single person that we can find, we're just going to get them to come join us. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, moving on, guys. We got more hopium at 2:00. We're gonna try to get Solo Satoshi over here. So we gotta hop through all of this super fun news. All right, next. As if you haven't seen, maybe you haven't seen this already, but 2025 Nobel Peace Prize winner said Venezuela should create a national Bitcoin reserve because it is a lifeline. And of course, right, I think a lot of us, especially as Bitcoiners, we are familiar with the hyperinflation mess that has occurred, right, in countries like Venezuela, Argentina, and we do know that Bitcoin obviously. I mean, not only just for us in the Western world, right, but for them as well, is a life raft. However, though, I gotta tell you, based on the track record that I'm seeing about all of these Bitcoin treasury, not Bitcoin treasuries, but the strategic Bitcoin reserves, I mean, does this just become like a not a censorship campaign? I'm looking for a campaign of seizing assets from Venezuelans. Like, I really, in all fairness, right, I'm coming from a place of ignorance. I don't know very much about Venezuela. However, we do understand how tyranny works, and we do understand how government control works. So I don't know. I guess, after seeing the fact that essentially all of the Bitcoin that we have,
someone very special.
Someone very special. We're gonna get him to join us too. You guys can't see these people, but you will later. No, but it's just the reason why I'm saying this is because I think about the U.S. government. I think about the announcements that we have seen, where essentially all of the Bitcoin that has been quote unquote accumulated by the government has just been seized. Like, there is no other budget neutral way of increasing a government's. And if you are a proponent for the government stacking, I am not. Like, I don't care. I don't think it's really a good thing for the quote unquote state to be stacking Bitcoin. However, right? I'm not going to say that it doesn't help if the state doesn't endorse it, because the average person is going to be more inclined to look into it if daddy government says, I give it a pass.
That is true.
You
And
know?
like when we have to remember is that like we've had government leaders talk in a positive way about Bitcoin all cycle. I mean, Venezuela.
Oh, yeah.
Go to a neighbor, Argentina. Javier Milei, before he was elected, he was putting Bitcoin on a board, and he was like, fiat, no. It's like, government, academic education department, no. It's like tearing off all these things, and he's saying yes to Bitcoin. But what ended up happening? Like, he gets into office, and yeah, he may have been turning that country around by cutting out government programs. But at the end of the day, like fiat is, it can't help but lead to more government control, more government spending, more inefficiencies. And if you don't adopt a Bitcoin standard in some way, shape, or form from a government standpoint, then you're essentially setting your people up for failure. So, but what is a Bitcoin standard from a government standpoint? Encouraging people to say the currency that we use is bad. You guys should be saving in this non-sovereign money, and it really does by a government telling them that they're cutting themselves off at the kneecaps.
It's a good point. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because for me, like, I wouldn't say it's just for me, but the government support of Bitcoin is buy my shitcoin. Like they are doing the meme that everybody does, right? I love Bitcoin. We love Bitcoin. We support Bitcoin. Here's our stable coin.
Yeah.
Here's our shitcoin. So it's just,
and the way stable coins are
part
built,
of the course,
the way stable coins are built now, people can utilize them across the world. All this stable coin policy, what is that for? Why is President Trump encouraging all this stable coin industry? Well, so the dollar can propagate to places where the dollar isn't already. There are a lot of government currencies that are pegged to the dollar. Now that pegging is automatic. You don't need to go through sovereign lanes in order to get that. You just, hey, here's a software that happens to be pegged to our U.S. currency. Go play economic games.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with Bitcoin. It's not even, you can't even call it a cryptocurrency. So it's like, the more we talk about this, the more we have to say, no, that's not what, how many of you, look what happened with Steak and Shake. We may be talking about,
we're going to talk about,
let's talk about that later. But
okay,
it's like that kind of parallel. It's like, you have to know the difference between Bitcoin and everything else. And that's essentially what we're talking about here. With this Nobel Peace Prize winner, is she going to say Bitcoin is for people, or is she going to utilize this to become a very important government person so she can help build a Venezuelan Bitcoin reserve, which obviously the United States has been talking about for a couple of years, and they ain't buying any. So
budget neutral.
Budget
neutral, okay? Don't forget that, okay?
No one's here. No government's here
and we shouldn't be upset because they're only confiscating this from criminals.
Oh yeah,
right.
Define criminal, Phil.
Well, criminals.
Scary stuff.
Exactly. Right. It's like, okay, so right now they take it from criminals, but in the future, right, when we change the rules for what those criminals are, then all of a sudden their Bitcoin becomes available to the government too, because now, of course, they're criminals. We got to stop them. Okay. The state's going to do what the state does. We are not surprised. I've said this before. I'll finish it with this, right? It is always the analogy of the bed of Procrustes, right? It's always the same thing. They've got a box and the government wants to fit this toy, right? This Bitcoin thing in a box. Now they can do that. They can do that by cutting off its legs, cutting off its arms, cutting off its head metaphorically, right? And turning it into a stable coin and making it so that it fits in their box. So yeah, no, we want none of that. None of those things. Okay, moving on. Here we go. All right, more bullishness, guys. This is from The Rational Root. We are in the most, and I actually showed this on, I think it was Friday, but a different version of this chart. but we are in the most bullish quarter of the 4-year cycle. Now, guys, I understand that last Friday did not feel that way to a lot of people, especially if you were new to Bitcoin, right? If you were new and you just started stacking and you went through all of this, you know, what was that like? How much of a drawdown was it? Like 10%?
Well, it's the greatest drawdown of all time, and we got our God candles just in the other direction.
Yeah, we did
10% in a day, maybe 12%. It was shocking. 120. I mean, at one point I think it was 120 to 104.
And it depends on what exchange you were looking at. I saw, and people didn't actually believe me, but there was one exchange that showed like 103 and change. So it was just a massive liquidation event. And guys, like this is volatility in action. Okay. If that scared you, right? If that scared you, number one, you've got to do more research about Bitcoin. You need to get more conviction. Okay. And number two, you need to, at least this is one thing that helps me, is realize, right? There's Bitcoin, the network, Bitcoin, the token, right? Which runs on the network. And then there is Bitcoin, the financialized asset that Wall Street likes to play with. So for me, that's all it was a reflection of what happened with the toy that Wall Street likes to play with. And Trump is a great manipulator of markets. I know that some people may not want to attribute that what happened to him. However, his long rant about China kind of, points differently.
In my opinion, I can't point to anything but that, considering the entire stock market did drop. What we see, and we've been saying it time and time again, this cycle, because we wanted the institutions are here. How do the institutions view Bitcoin? The institutions view Bitcoin as a cherry on top, the top of the pyramid, the gravy. Okay, they don't see it as this is foundational to their survival. They say when times are good, yay, Bitcoin. When times even hint at being bad, the first thing they drop is Bitcoin. So what do you see? Trump says, we're going to increase China tariffs by 100%.
Yeah.
The first thing that goes are the tech stocks and the things that are considered risk-on assets. No matter what you hear on Twitter, Bitcoin is still seen as a risk-on asset to the people with the big bags. Okay, and so
good point.
Yeah, we saw Bitcoin dump, but guess what? We see that everything else dumped too, and so you can't say that the Bitcoin bull cycle is over. You can't say that Bitcoin is dead. It's just par for the course.
Do you actually feel like it's over? I'm not getting any of those. Nope. Like I don't, and I'm not just saying this. Like I genuinely am not getting the typical feelings that I've got in the past cycles of exuberance. Like I remember when we hit 20K. Like I remember that, and I was like, can it go anymore? Like all the stars have aligned, and yet there were still people saying, hey, this thing can go to 50 like in the next couple of days. And it just felt way too heavy, right? Like it had that feeling where like we had exhausted all possible happiness and all possible market exuberance. And we did. We did in fact do it. And I didn't want to believe it as we were going down.
Right.
But I'm not feeling this time.
That's something,
I'm just not getting
something important to understand, that you are going to feel great as it's going up. And we've heard it before. You must continue to stay humble.
Yep.
Not necessarily you need to be stacking every single day. That's not for everyone. Okay. Everyone doesn't stack every single day. I don't stack every single day. I stack in the time frames that I
Whoa. Saying this live.
Excommunicated. I stack.
Nice working with you.
I'm done. My base Bitcoin career is over. But the catch is, it's like, you hear these narratives on the internet, and these narratives create for us a type of religion, a type of zealousness that we follow, so that the suits can see, hey, you can make a Bitcoin company and you don't have to worry about it. You're going to have your foundations. They are using your conviction for exit liquidity. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't continue to dollar cost average on a periodic basis, and that's what I do. I just don't stack every day. The catch is that what we're seeing right now, that liquidation event, do we not see the Fed rate's going to be another couple of drops in the next 2 or 3 FOMC meetings? Yes, you see that. That's generally a bullish indicator for risk on investments. Do we not see that November is still here. That October is only halfway through. I mean, when we think about it, it's like, oh wow, that dropped all the way, and then we're back at 115, and we were at 115 at the beginning of the month. We still have 2-3 weeks left in October. There's still, think about how much it pumped over the course of a week and a half, 2 weeks. We went from 109 to an all-time high, and then back down. And now it's been probably the most movement we've ever had in a 3-week period. If all of that movement could, for some reason, go green, then we start looking at 130, 140, even before November happens. I'm not saying it will, but I'm saying that's a possibility. So yeah, if I'm still thinking that, if we're all kind of still feeling that way, it ain't over.
No, I agree. And we've got some comments here in the chat that we are going to take a look at, right? Clean your machine official. Absolutely. BTC only self-custody. That's right. When you do BTC only self-custody, all of this is noise. Like, obviously, right, it sucks to see the price go down and blah, 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 you know, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you don't have to sit there and worry that your exchange is going to go belly up, because that's not where you're custodying your Bitcoin. So yes, totally agreed. Oh, wait, there is the this one here from Bitcoin Shango. Yeah, man. Enjoying the roller coaster ride? That's right. Wear your gasoline cologne. Very nice. Okay, so this is another one here from Bitcoin Shango. I saw a cool meme. With Barron Trump whispering in his dad's ear, telling him to tweet this or that to manipulate the markets. I'm paraphrasing, but it was super funny. Yeah, I saw the same meme as well. And of course, right, if you believe what you're seeing on the news, Barron Trump is sitting on like $80 million. You know, from all of his, from all
Barron,
of his,
not
Eric the father,
or Trump Jr.
Barron.
The baby.
That's right. The kid is like outdoing most adults.
What am I doing with my life?
No, don't even look at it like that, okay? Yeah, don't. But I know you can't help but feel it, right? You can't help but sit there and think it. You're like, ugh, I only have 50. Should have 80. Okay, anyways, I'm kidding. Let's move on here. What else? All right, Bitcoin Shango, he ran out of toilet paper. Fiat trying to buy more and more of the dip. That's right. Okay, yeah, I guess I'll put this up, even though I'm not good at that. But yeah, smash the like button, guys, and let's get Phil and Ulric out there on YouTube. I appreciate it. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And yes, thank you. Clean Your Machine Inc. I love your name. It's great. And he's right. Should clean your machine. I feel like there was another one though.
No.
There was that was it. Okay, that was it for the comments, guys. We're gonna move on. Here we go. Yeah, I know you probably thought the show was over, but wait. There's more as I leave the screen. Okay, so here, this is a post from Ulric, right? We got some more charts, more opium. So what were the events to flip red again? The 21 change was the Fed rates pausing. Funny, we are right there again. Look at March 26 rates futures. There is enough uncertainty for that decision that if the choice is to pause, it kicks off a year-long sell-off or side crab before momentum pulls risk on BTC up again. No, it's not different this time.
You know, I saw this post from Tech Dev. I'm not familiar with the account, and this chart alludes to a longer bull cycle than we've ever had before. Particularly with Bitcoin, it's not about equities or other types of markets. And so I see this, and I see a lot of friends retweeting this. I see Corey Clipston chimes in. I see a lot of other big Bitcoin influencers chime into this. But I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, you got to understand that this cycle, if we remember back to 2021, no matter what exuberance was happening, when Jerome Powell came in and said, we're going to pause rates, that stopped the music from playing. And we are in, I mean, when you think about
shit coins.
You're gonna have to grab a mic later. We are live. I'm sure you guys recognize who that was.
Guys, that was Walton. I haven't seen him all morning.
Yeah, I think he just got here. But
did he? Okay.
But to go back to this, it's like 2021 rates pause. It put a stop to the music. If the rates pause again in March, which it's not guaranteed to go to drop another 3 times. A third time, we'll probably get one at the end of October. We'll get one in December, but after that, it's really a who knows. January, maybe it goes again, but March, they're not sure. When that certainty gets to pausing, the big money is going to say, what are we getting into risk on assets again? For again, they're going to kind of wake up, go back to treasuries, and Bitcoin may lose its momentum. And when it loses its momentum, people are going to look at the time frame they're in. And it's like, you know, maybe this is the time to chill out for a minute. So those people who are making you look at these charts and say up forever, it's going to be bad news for you. The liquidation event just happened. Don't get caught a second time. You know, it's interesting. But again, more cases, more examples of why you should be self-custodying. Don't get into these over leveraged tools that Coinbase puts out to turn you into a honeypot. Very bad times. We're not out of the woodworks yet, both good and bad.
Speaking of Coinbase, I think there's some Coinbase news. I saw something. They're definitely doing something state-ish. I mean, they do a lot of state-ish stuff, but something new that's state-ish. Okay, moving on. We got a little more hopium here to go through, guys. Okay, so look, I think this was covered a little bit last week. I mean, look, I can't disagree with Adam back on this one. No tax on Bitcoin. I get, right, that people are excited about the de minimis tax exemption on you know, cheaper purchases and blah, blah, blah. It's to me, it's just, if they're going to do that, then it's just avoiding the inevitable. Like, they're just trying to kick the can down the road. It's like, just rip the Band-Aid off already. Like, I feel like this is a Band-Aid ripping ceremony, and it's just like, just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's do this.
The good thing about Bitcoin hodlers is that, hey, you know, we can hodl longer than the market can try to extort us for our good found fortune. Okay, there's a lot of things that we can do to stay away. Look, Bitcoin, for a lot of us, that's our foundational wealth. We don't need to touch it. But if the state wants us to work on monetary velocity, if the state wants a little bit of that money in our economy, because, hey, our newfound riches, what do we do with it? A lot of us are okay with the cardboard box and a single chair in the house. They want some of that. They may have to go to the negotiating table, which means, oh, we'll do 5%, you know, tax on your Bitcoin. We'll do 1% tax on your Bitcoin. The Philippines are already at 0. Now we start getting into jurisdictional arbitrage. I think there's a European country where their taxation is better than equities. So you just have to wonder, how long are they going to sit around and just hope that we give in? We can hold a whole lot longer than they need our money. You know, that recession's coming, and they're going to have to figure out a way how they keep that can kicking. They're going to need our wealth, because we're the new kings of the castle. So it's like, what are you going to do for us? Otherwise, we go to the Philippines.
That recession's building. You know what I mean? Like, because like that's what they do. They build it. Okay, we're gonna move out of the hopium, and we're gonna go take a look at some digital ID failure. Let's do it. So last week, as you guys know, not even just last week, but even the week before, there was already the talks of implementing. First, it was just, hey, all of these illegal workers, you know, coming to the UK, well, they're going to have digital IDs. Within a week from that point, it just became, guess what? Everybody who wants to work needs to have digital IDs. Not even 2 weeks later, UK digital ID system has already been hacked twice. Okay? I mean, look, this is, I think to people like us, this is very unsurprising, right? Like this is just par for the course. Anybody who's ever actually worked in, I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to go to the length of saying for the government, but even certain corporate environments, the internal rules are just so lax. And unfortunately, there are many IT departments that don't actually follow stringent rules, okay, and stringent best practices. I've worked for companies where they will give you a login name and, you know, a username and password and everything, and like 2 years later, this thing will still work if you go back to the site, which is insane. Right? Like I know of other situations where people get fired and like literally 6 years later, they're still in the active domain. Yep. So the idea that this digital ID thing was, it's like, yep, par for the course.
I mean, they're creating honeypots for hackers.
Yeah.
They're creating honeypots. It's like, hey, here's everyone's information in a government database, not Oracle, not forget companies that actually care about creating value. We're talking about the government who has a monopoly on everything. So guess what? What happens with monopolies for all those video game aficionados? What happened when the Madden football game got exclusive rights to the NFL branding? The Madden game fell off.
Yeah.
So what happens when the government has exclusive rights on maintaining your ID, your identification, your bank account, whatever? Guess what? They have no competition. They create an environment where they have no competition, and it causes them to weaken their value offering. And so what ends up happening? Oh, you get hacked twice in a row. And of course, it's the UK. It doubles down on my stance that London has fallen. A lot of cities in Europe has fallen. I've just got back from Spain. Madrid has fallen. I'm sorry. Things are going to have to change, and they'll probably get worse before they get better.
Unfortunately. And on that note, we are going to show everybody. That's right, guys. We're doing the full service episode here. And look, normally we don't even have normally there isn't two hosts for the news, but guess what? Here we're going to dive into this little video from this is from the account Colin Rugg, and this is Miami-Dade's sheriff's office. Guess what, guys? They're upgrading their patrol, and this, to me, this has to do with digital IDs. Okay, and I'll explain why after we watch this little dystopian video.
Past the flashing lights and logos, it's clear this is no ordinary police cruiser. This prototype SUV was designed to launch a drone, read license plates, and send live infrared video back to HQ, all without needing a police officer behind the wheel. The Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office says this is the nation's first autonomous police vehicle. The South Florida Department is rolling out the experimental vehicle thanks to funding from the policing lab.
What we're ultimately trying to do is to give the sworn officers the capability to make the best decision out there.
For now, Miami-Dade will essentially take the vehicle on a PR junket, seeking community input before it regularly patrols neighborhoods. If and when that day arrives, designers say this vehicle will offer a lot.
They don't need to be focused on driving and looking for animals, children, pedestrians
As we're
running
watching
out into the
I just
road.
want to imagine,
The
right?
vehicle's going to watch those vulnerable
Imagine how
road users and let the
impossible
officer
they
look
can be.
for.
And now all of a
The
sudden,
easy-to-operate
they're gonna
tethered
have
drone
lobbyists,
gives
they're gonna
police
have
a
drones,
bird's-eye,
right?
up-close view, even in the shadows. The car can also patrol targeted areas, deterring bad actors without Sheriff Rosie Cordero-Stokes.
We don't need to watch the whole thing. It's just to give everybody a little taste, right? The autonomous police cars. So right now, you've got police cars with people in them. And they're not 100%, right? And I'm not insulting police officers or anything. I'm just simply alluding to the fact that human beings, right, we are not perfect. So therefore, the idea that we're going to have these perfect drones and these automated police, right? I'm not looking forward to this.
Post this one right here. That's kind of funny.
Oh, here we go. Good Lord, they skipped RoboCop and went straight to RoboCop 2. Let's just hope that they aren't feeding these things nuke, okay? Because then that's just a reference to RoboCop 2, the drug of choice of the city that the Kane was creating and that kid.
But I feel like, the drug of choice for these RoboCops is essentially whoever is program, or these drones, these autonomous police, is whoever's programming them. And it's like the scary part of that is now when the autonomous police makes a mistake, who do we go to? Like, who's accountable? Who's liable? And if they do a good job of through lawfare protecting these people, these groups who are doing this programming, it enables them to oppress the people without any repercussions, or with fewer repercussions than the biological format.
Yeah,
there's a man behind that badge. Now it's nothing but a car behind the badge or a drone behind the badge. It's a very scary thought if they take ethics out of the equation.
Very well said. Very well said. And you'll see they will. They absolutely will.
They have a monopoly on violence.
All right, we're going back to the UK, guys. Back to the UK. Here we go.
This is my theory.
They get some things right. No. Okay, here we go. So back to the UK. This is an Adam Back post. So with the UK FCA dropping their silly Bitcoin ETF ban, true, it was silly and ridiculous. It's just to exert power. Are UK residents finding they're able to access the new BlackRock UK Bitcoin ETF or other international ETFs in UK tax-advantaged accounts and general portfolios? Bitcoin minds want to know. Well, I got to be honest. We got to speak to somebody. So the issue is it's very difficult for us, at least. I mean, I know that Bitcoiners want to know, but the problem is that most Bitcoiners that I know don't actually hold shares of any of the ETFs.
That's right.
And I know this sounds crazy, but it's because they actually hold Bitcoin.
That's right.
So I don't know.
But you know, the cold
You
part
know, I don't
about
know.
this, yeah, and the cold part about this is, first of all, I found this tweet and I was just shocked to say, wait, you mean they're banning the ETF
They
that's
had already
been,
banned them.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they're unbanning it. So they had it already banned it, and it went through all the red tape, all the yellow tape, all the formal things that these ETFs have to go through. What makes the Bitcoin ETF so bad? Like, they have a gold ETF. They probably have another commodity ETF. What makes this one so bad? It's the scary part that the UK central bank says that's competition to us, and we have a monopoly on money. So now you're bringing this Bitcoin thing into the equation, and that makes people question our monetary sovereignty. And so then they lift the ban, but they keep the yellow tape. So guess what? People's retirement funds probably can't even access it because they have to go talk to someone and get counseling and get a doctor's note just to put that in their retirement account.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of crazy how the state will do anything they can to keep you from accessing even exposure to the greatest money we've ever seen. And mind you, I don't have any Bitcoin ETF, but guess what? I work and I have a 9 to 5. I have a career, and I guarantee that if I could get the Bitcoin ETF into my retirement, I would. But guess who owns it? Vanguard.
Vanguard, huh?
Vanguard doesn't want me to have the Bitcoin ETF.
They don't want you to have the Bitcoin ETF, but they are holding MicroStrategy. And
I can't even find a way to get why can't my 401k just say, hey, I just want to put in MicroStrategy? You know, just like, let's call a spade a spade. I don't want your 60-40 fund. I just want something related to Bitcoin. Can't find it. So they keep me away from Bitcoin exposure just for my retirement. But guess what? That's why every single dollar I can get outside of my retirement, which by the way, I barely contribute to, I put that in Bitcoin because I know that they're trying to keep me away from it.
Yeah,
scary.
Absolutely. And we got some comments, right? Clean your machine, official control. That's absolutely correct. That is exactly what it is. Control. And Bitcoin Shango, right? The old money is scared of the new money. Absolutely. Right? Like, I mean, you got to think about it, right? When you get into power, like just take a look at previous power structures, right? Previous power structures, they don't willingly give up their power. Hey, you know what? I've been doing great. I've been number one. I've been king. Maybe you want a chance at being king. Let me give up all of this infinite power.
Big eye roll.
No, like who is doing this stuff? Nobody. So come on, right? It's just par for the course that this is what they want. You know, it's ridiculousness. Okay, moving on. We're gonna because it's gonna have somebody here in 15 minutes, and gonna wrap up the news here. We got a couple more stories. Okay, so this is from Lucky Redfish. By the way, shout out Lucky Redfish, always tagging me and stuff. I really appreciate it because I genuinely do not focus enough on the news across the pond. India to launch Ribby-backed, and the RBI is their local currency, Ribby-backed digital currency for faster, safer transactions. Now, why do we care about this? I don't. But the reason why we care about this is because last week we saw there was I forget who it was in their parliament took a picture with his little buy Bitcoin thing, right? So one Indian official, right, an Indian politician was all excited about Bitcoin, and all of a sudden, right after he put that out, they got a whole bunch of fanfare. Then we saw the ad from CoinSwitch, right, with the gold bar that said this is not an ad for gold. And it was showing you how much gold you can get with 1 Bitcoin, which was a kilogram of gold, right? And then so we see all this stuff, all this happiness, and lo and behold, we start getting this news. Oh, guess what, guys? We're gonna do a local fiat-backed stablecoin. It's kind of weak, you know? It's kind of weak.
There's a lot of crypto and near Bitcoin propaganda and programs and projects that utilize the Bitcoin proven brand to shill whatever they're trying to do. The president, the 8-foot or 10-foot President Trump statue, that was a crypto project that had him holding a Bitcoin facing the White House. It's like it looks good on the surface, and then you read the fine print. Oh, but buy my project. And this is another thing. It's like they want people to be excited about authoritarianism. They want people to be excited about control. And the only way they can do that is by showing you something that has worked in the free market. And you may not know, you, the common bystander, may not know why it works, but it looks similar because both digital is not tangible. Safer and faster transactions. I'll tell you, if it wasn't Bitcoin, there ain't nothing safer than dollar bills. I'm just like, let's call a spade a spade. So what makes this safer? Huh?
Something I said. You said it again.
I said what?
You call a spade a spade.
I said. What's bad about
I don't know. I'm gonna go look it up. But I remember I
That's
said that, and someone was like, "Whoa, Phil, you can't say that anymore." I'm like, "What?"
Is that some black reference?
I don't even know. I don't even know. I just know that everything's offensive and everyone's offended, and you can't say anything anymore. Okay.
It's Greek.
Oh, who's getting offended?
You're fine. It's like ancient Greek.
Okay, all right. Nobody's getting offended. That's it, guys. Okay.
Cheers to the internet.
Yeah, cheers to the internet. Thank you for looking that up. Because like the second somebody younger than me tells me you can't say that anymore, I'm listening to them because I'm old. So I'm like, I probably don't know this, Anyways, all right, here we go. We've got one last story here, and then we're going to wrap up before we get a guest on, our next guest, actually. And this was actually pretty interesting from Ulric, right? Couldn't figure out exactly what was going on with this, but essentially, here we go. I know you guys are wondering, why the hell are you shilling this crap, Phil? Just wait. Discover and trade 300 cryptocurrencies, also 100% reserved and transparent. Why are you showing me this?
Trust me, bro.
Trust me, bro. This is why. And great way of tying these two together. So here we go. We've got another Bitcoin stacking app, right? Bitcoin only. How many times have we seen that? And lo and behold, the Bitcoin app that pays you back, Stack BTC, powered by Uphold. This Uphold.
That Uphold.
The one with the 300 plus currencies. So,
and the gold check mark. I mean, they're definitely established, man. Like
so you know what I've learned about that gold check mark?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, check this out. So you just pay a lot of money for it. That's all it is in the end. Like, and the perks that you get, because of course they offered it to us at Pleb Underground after a certain amount of whatever we got. And I'm like, there's not a chance. Like, this is just all it is. It's a flex, right? It's just a flex to say I'm wasting this much money to use Twitter. Okay. I mean, if that matters, then great. But look, it's a little bit disappointing. And the reason why I say this is because we've seen this time and time again. And this is one of the reasons that Pleb Underground doesn't take, even when Walton was here, right? It's the same thing. Like we don't take money from exchanges. And this is one of the reasons why we don't take sponsorships from them, because in the end, right, they may have a little Bitcoin only face, right? A Bitcoin only front, but in the back, it's all shitcoins. Okay. It's a giant shitcoin casino. And they're just showing you a very specific face so that we have a very specific opinion. And sorry, I just not interested.
You think you are in a Bitcoin economy, but you're really like Phil said, a marketing front to fit your demographic and your interests. They don't really care about about how you're trying to change the world or what you think is right, because they're touching all potential customer bases. And it's similar. I know we're going to run out of time, but just like the Shake Shack thing, it was kind of weird because not Shake Shack.
Was it Shake Shack?
No. Shake Shack is local to me. Steak and Shake.
Steak and Shake
put out a survey talking about, hey, we're offering Bitcoin. We're
going to show that.
Are we going to?
Not today. Not today. We're
But and we'll talk about it. But it's like, they put out, hey, should we do Ethereum as well? And it's like, guess what? 52% people said yeah. And what happened? all the Bitcoiners were offended. It's like, how dare you? If you do this, I'll never eat your food again. But you'll eat food from someone who doesn't care about Bitcoin and does dollars. It's like, and I'm not here to talk bad about the people who want Shake Shack to be a Bitcoin only company. What I'm here to say is that companies are looking to you as just one of many revenue generating streams. And you should never feel obligated to these companies because they're looking out for number one, which they should, and you should as well. So if you have an incentive Bitcoin only, be cautious of the Bitcoin front, which and look, the orange logo, which we call orange washing. They make it orange, they put a B there, all of a sudden you fall in love. Don't fall for that. That's way too easy. Don't be easy pickings for these companies.
Yeah. And actually, I just wanted to add to this because H. Rourke put up a good point, right? Steak and Shake's fries are pre-cooked in seed oil. I just want to point out that is correct. They are the only company I've seen though so far. Well, it's not like so many companies have come forward to change their oil, but as soon as Bitcoiners started to make noise about that, the seed oil stuff, they immediately explained and at least apologized. So in my eyes, at the very least, they did the right thing and show that they are aware rather than just gaslighting their possible customers, right? Because that's what a lot of companies really just end up doing. You know, it's not something wrong with us, it's something wrong with you, you know? So I don't know. I guess I kind of got to give it to them for that, but I would like to see them change that pre-cook, you know, into something better. But to your point again, Ulrich, it's just orange washing. It always is orange washing.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, we are going to wrap up this live episode of the Daily News. We're going to be back in a few minutes with the gentleman from Solo Satoshi. So stay tuned. Well, it's not going to be on this stream. We're going to start up a whole new stream for that, and we are going to be right back in a few minutes. Take it easy, guys.